Today we're going to cover a few plants that I'm struggling with, and we'll cover a small wish list that I had this year. I want to start off by showing you I did end up putting the string of pearls in that dish bathtub. So first I'm going to start off with the plants I'm struggling with. Let's grow. I'm going to start with number 5 and work my way down to number 1 being the worst plant that just doesn't want to do anything for me. But first, or number 5, countdown, would be a Philodendron Brazil. I got this plant this year. It's not doing very much for me. It did catch thrips. Just paying attention to something in the soil right now. Looks like spider mites. Yeah, so this plant just keeps having issues. I'm going to take it away from these plants right now. It's in my grow room. It's got a spider mite in the soil. So that plant has only given me issues since I brought it home. I brought it home and it wasn't doing so well. I just wanted to save the poor thing because I've always wanted a Philodendron Brazil. It was 50% off. I got it for really cheap. I did take some clippings. I've actually gave away those clippings and now I'm struggling with the plant. I also took some trimmings the other day. And here's the state of the trimmings that you saw in my last video. It wasn't the other day. I took them probably a week ago now, and they just rotted. I might give up on that plant, but I really like the Philodendron Brazil, so I'm going to try to save it. Next is number 4. Number 4, oh, I just made a mess. Yeah, number 4 is a spider plant mother-in-law's tongue. I'll put the scientific name on the screen. I don't water it very much. I neglect it, and it has really dry soil at the moment. And as you can see, this is the mother plant. The mother plant is not doing so well. The roots look very dry, so I might just pop it into some water. That leaf is wrinkly, so I'm going to take care of that today. The other parts of this plant, of this pot, does look good. Got some pups growing from the trimmings that I took. So I'm just going to water this pot and leave the rest of them in here. Third is the rattlesnake plant. This plant was on my wish list. It currently sits in a nursery pot with a terracotta pot that doesn't have any holes. And it does nothing for me. It's 8 months, this trimming, 8 months old. It does have roots. I planted it into soil once the roots were big enough. And, oh, there is a growth point. I take it back. Maybe it just needed some time. There's some growth happening there. Not sure if you could pick it up, but right where my fingernail is. Yay! Wish me luck with this plant. I really want a beautiful one. I'm looking for the red. I don't know why it's not burgundy in the back of the leaf, but maybe that comes in later with the bigger mature leaves. We'll see. Curious to what this will look like next year. My peace lily. This was also a trimming, and I'm gonna leave it in here because although I have some yellowing on some leaves, which seems to be normal for this plant, it is pushing out some new growth. There's some new growth right here. I do better with this in water, so I'm gonna leave it in water. And hopefully now it's going through the I love water phase because it did not like soil. So number 1 on my list is this Chinese evergreen. I'll put the scientific name on the screen. I did write it down. But yeah, I'll put the scientific Anglomenia. I'm not doing so well with this plant. This plant is 10 years old. Currently have it growing in a jar. The roots are growing really good. It just doesn't ever want to grow for me. I had it in soil for the last 9 years, and this year I tried to just chop the top off. I gave the mother plant away and left myself with these trimmings. I'm not sure if I want to put it into soil, but it's not doing very. Now it stopped growing, and this leaf is turning yellow. So yeah, we'll see. I think I'm going to put this into soil and fertilize it. I'm going to fertilize some of my plants because I have grow lights and they're growing, so I feel like they need it. I did have a wish list this year, and on that wish list I had a few plants. I'm actually working on a wish list for my outdoor gardens. And I can put a picture of where I'm going to put my outdoor gardens here in this corner. Yeah, my dream is to have a vegetable garden and grow food that we eat. Back to my houseplants. I did have a few on my wish list. Staghorn Fern, which I got. I got this plant this year. I found it at a grocery store near town near me, and you could see it's pushing out some new growth points here. I love this. It sits above my kitchen window, which is south facing. It's pushing out this lovely new growth. I love this plant. It's so pretty. Yeah, one of my favorites, the Staghorn Fern. So I'd like to see where this will be next year. Rattlesnake plant, that was also on my wish list. So I got 2 plants this year that were on my wish list, which is kind of nice. There is a plant that I got this year that wasn't on my wish list that I'm really falling in love with. I worked at a nursery this year doing garden maintenance, and in the plant store they had this. I walked by it and I said I have to have it. It didn't have a tag on it, there was no name, and the ladies in the store didn't even know what it was. It's a Philodendron Berky. I think I got it for $7. It's so pretty. It's got new growth happening here. It's really loving it in my grow room. I do have it currently sitting in the original nursery pot. Yeah. I actually got that at the same time as this Fiddle Fig, and it's doing well, but it does have some signs of overwatering. See these little spots? They kind of looks like the color of rust. Not all the leaves are covered, mainly this one here at the top. So it is a sign that maybe it was overwatered before it got into my care. Yes, so wish me luck with that Fiddle Fig. I named her Viola. Yeah, I named her Viola. Hoya wish list. I do have 1 Hoya. I don't want to go too crazy with them because there's a lot that look alike. I feel like I have the main Hoyas that I like in my collection. So, except for the Hindu Compacta, yeah, I really wanted one of those. I tried with the trimming and it wasn't very successful. So that was my first sign to don't bother. Hoya Linares. Linares? I really want one of those Hoyas. I keep seeing it on YouTube channels, and I just wish I could have a trimming. They are very pretty, they look soft, and I would like one in my care. So there, that is on my wish list. I am not going to get any of these plants. I'm not going to buy them. If they come across as gifts, great. If not, this year, I'm just going to focus on my outdoor gardens for 2024 and obviously keep the plants that I have happy. Oh, you like my sweater? My mother-in-law gave it to me for Christmas. Going to be nice to look back and see if these plants do survive. I'm going to do something with this one today. I think I'm going to put it into soil and fertilize it. But it will be nice to look back at these plants next year and see how they're doing and if they're still in my care. I accidentally knocked over my Hoyas. Here's what happened. The Azzi fell over and it's no longer sitting in its pot. Those are the roots. That's it. That's what this is growing off of. I don't actually see there's a little bit of a root there. Or new growth. Yeah, it's a little bit of a root. Rooted onto a wood chip that I had in the soil. I think I'm going to throw these clippings, I'm going to clean them up and throw them into the Hoya propagation fish tank. I'm going to keep an eye on the roots and use this plastic cup. It's got holes at the bottom. Yeah. This way I can monitor the roots. Next is starting a journal for my outdoor gardens so that I can organize myself for the following season, the spring. I could actually go do some gardening today. It's December the 29th and I can see my grass growing. We usually have snow by now, but we'll see how this snake plant does in the future and this Chinese evergreen. One day I'll know the scientific name and be able to say it. I do know the scientific name, but one day I'll be able to say it. This is a wood chip that's stuck to its root, so I'm not gonna take it apart. Just gonna leave it. It's growing right into the wood chip. Yep. Some nice roots there. Actually, that looks dried out, but I think it'll be fine. You're going to survive. When all my plants are happy, I'm happy.